My name is Elias Ward. I'm from a small town in Montana. Quiet place. Quiet people. I fit in well. 3 days ago, I got an email. Deep Range Surveyor, conditional approval. No interview, no call. Just instructions. Yellowstone National Park, restricted zones, isolation required. And one line I couldn't ignore. Observe. Record. Do not interfere. The pay was high. Too high. Still, I accepted. I don't know why. Maybe I was just tired of hearing my own thoughts. I leave tomorrow. I left before sunrise. No goodbyes. No reason to stay. The coordinates led me west, deeper into land that felt emptier with every mile. By noon, the roads narrowed. By evening, they stopped feeling like roads at all. Yellowstone didn't greet me. It just existed. Vast, silent, indifferent. At the entrance checkpoint, there was no crowd, no tourists, just one guard. He didn't ask questions, didn't check my ID twice. He just looked at the paper I printed and nodded. "Late," he said. That was it. Inside, the air felt colder than it should have been. Cleaner, too. Like the place didn't belong to people. My directions didn't lead to any visitor area. No signs, no maps. Just a long stretch of forest road. And then a turn that wasn't marked anywhere. That's where the signal dropped. No network, no GPS. Just coordinates on paper. I followed them anyway. By the time I reached the facility, the sun was already gone. It didn't look official, more like something built to not be noticed. Concrete, low structure, no lights outside. A single door. And someone already waiting for me. The man at the door didn't introduce himself, he just held it open. "Elias Ward," he said, like he already knew. Inside, the facility felt controlled. Not clean, not dirty, just maintained. No windows, dim lights, low hum of machines somewhere behind the walls. He handed me a clipboard, forms, rules, signatures. Most of it was standard: liability, field risk, isolation, consent. One section wasn't. You may encounter unregistered structures. Do not alter, enter, or report beyond assigned logs. I paused there. "Standard wording," the man said, flat voice. I signed anyway. He took the clipboard back. "No phone after tomorrow," he added. "You'll be issued a recorder." I nodded. Still no names exchanged. Before leaving, he pointed down a corridor. "Dorms are that way. Briefing at 0600. That was my welcome. Dorm 7 was small. Bed, locker, desk. Nothing extra. Someone had already placed a uniform on the bed, dark green, no insignia. Fit me perfectly. That bothered me more than it should have. There were 6 other dorms on the floor, all occupied. But I didn't see anyone, just closed doors. No voices. No movement. At dinner, I finally saw them. 5 others. Same uniforms, same silence. No introductions. We ate like we already knew the rules. Across the table, one of them looked at me for a second longer than normal, then went back to eating. No one spoke. After that, we just left. Back to our rooms. Lights out at 2200. Strict, predictable, controlled. I lay in bed for a while, staring at the ceiling, trying to figure out why everything felt rehearsed, like I had walked into something already in motion. 0600 came without a sound, no alarms, no announcements. Still, everyone arrived on time. The briefing room was underground. No screens, just a large table and printed maps. A woman led the session. Designation, Deep Range Survey, she said. Your task is simple. Map what hasn't been mapped. She pointed at the paper in front of me. Sections of Yellowstone. Incomplete. Blank spaces where there shouldn't be any. These are your zones, she added. You go alone. No partners. No teams. Why alone? Someone asked. She didn't answer directly. Less interference, she said. Then she handed out devices, a recorder, a compass, a physical map. No GPS. No digital dependency, she explained. Everything about this job felt intentional, precise, like mistakes weren't expected. My zone was labeled Sector C12. No description, just coordinates and a route line drawn in pencil. Departure was set for 700. They gave me a pack, standard gear, water, rations, measuring tools. Nothing unusual. The forest outside was colder than I expected. Not freezing, just still. No wind, no distant sounds. Even the ground felt quieter under my steps. I followed the route exactly. Every turn matched the map. Every marker was where it should be. It was efficient. Too efficient. By midday, I reached the first checkpoint, a rock formation marked on the map. I recorded it, measured distance, logged direction. Routine work. Simple. But something about it felt repetitive. Like I wasn't the first to do this.
Day 2 followed the same pattern. Wake, brief, walk, record, return. No changes, no surprises. The path was always clear. Almost prepared. I started noticing small things. Markers on trees, faint, deliberate, not natural. But they weren't on the map. I didn't log them, not because I forgot, because of the directive. Observe, record, do not interfere. Back at the facility, no one discussed their zones, no comparisons, no questions. It was like everyone agreed not to be curious. That night I reviewed my notes. Everything was correct, accurate, clean. Still, something felt missing, like I was recording a place that had already been recorded too many times. By day 3, the pattern settled in. Same route, same markers, same silence. Even my footsteps started to feel predictable. I began marking time by distance instead of hours. Every 500 meters, pause, record, move. Nothing changed. Not the terrain, not the air, not even the light filtering through the trees. It all looked identical. At one point, I checked my previous logs. The measurements matched perfectly. Too perfectly. No variation, no error. That shouldn't happen in the field. But I wrote it down anyway, because that's what I was here for. That night, I studied the map again. Sector C12 looked simple at first. But the more I traced it, the less sense it made. Paths overlapped, lines repeated. Some routes looped without connecting back. It wasn't wrong, just inefficient. Like it was designed to be followed, not understood. I checked the legend. Nothing unusual. Still, one detail stood out. There were no starting points, no clear entry, just routes. I realized something then. I hadn't chosen where to begin. It had already been decided. I started paying attention to the others. Same schedule, same silence, but small differences. One of them, Dorm 3, returned earlier than the rest. Every day. No one questioned it. Another, Dorm 5, always cleaned his boots twice, even when they weren't dirty. At dinner, I tried something. I asked a simple question. Which sector? No one answered, not even a glance, like I hadn't spoken at all. The rule wasn't written anywhere,
but it was clear. We don't share. By day 5, I stopped questioning things. Routine makes everything easier. Wake, move, record. Don't think beyond the next point. It works. The forest feels less unfamiliar now. Not friendly, just accepted. I don't notice the silence as much, or maybe I've stopped expecting sound. Either way, it doesn't bother me anymore. Before lights out, I check tomorrow's route. Same sector, extended range, nothing unusual. I set the map down, turned off the light, and for the first time since arriving, I slept without thinking.
Day 6. Nothing in the briefing changed. Same instructions, same route. But Sector C-12 had been extended, further than before, deeper. The map showed a new line, thin, almost like it had been added later. No explanation. I followed it. The forest felt the same at first, still, cold, predictable. But after the third checkpoint, something changed. Not suddenly, gradually. The silence wasn't empty anymore. It felt occupied, like something was present just outside awareness. I stopped walking, listened. Nothing. Still nothing. But my body didn't agree. There was a pressure in the air, subtle, like being watched without direction. I checked the map again. The line ahead didn't end, it just faded, like whoever drew it hadn't finished, or didn't need to. I recorded the point, turned to leave, and that's when I noticed it. A mark on a tree, not like the others, deeper, carved, not scratched. I stepped closer, ran my fingers over it. It wasn't random. It was a shape, a symbol, almost like a circle, but broken, uneven. And beneath it, something else. Letters, faint, worn. I leaned in to read, and for a second, just a second, I thought I heard someone behind me, breathing, slow, close. I turned immediately. Nothing there, just trees, still, silent, exactly like before. I stood there longer than I should have, waiting, listening. But nothing came. Eventually, I walked back, didn't record the symbol, didn't mention the sound. That night, in my room, I couldn't stop thinking about it. Not the mark, not the sound, but the feeling. That for the first time, something in that forest had noticed me, too. I didn't plan to listen to the recorder, but I couldn't sleep. So I did. The audio started normally. Footsteps, breathing. My voice, calm, measured. Checkpoint 3. Rock formation intact. Nothing unusual. Then it shifted. A pause I didn't remember taking. Static. Soft at first, then layered, like two recordings overlapping. I leaned closer. My voice continued, but underneath it, something else. Faint, almost synced with my breathing. Not words, just rhythm. I skipped ahead, the moment near the carved symbol. There it was, clearer now. My voice. Unmarked tree, carving observed. And behind it, a second breath. Not mine, slower, heavier. Too close. I stopped the recording. The room felt smaller again, quieter than it should be. I checked the device. No damage, no interference indicators. Just one file, unedited. I didn't play it again. I didn't report it either, because the directive was clear. Observe, record, do not interfere. So I wrote it down. But I left one detail out. I went back the next day. Same route, same pace. I told myself it was routine, nothing more. But I knew where I was going. The tree.
the symbol. It took less time than before, or maybe I just walked faster. When I reached the spot, I stopped. The tree was still there, the carving too. But it wasn't alone anymore. There was another mark, lower, closer to eye level. Not carved, pressed, like something had leaned against the bark, hard enough to leave an impression. I stepped closer. It looked almost human. Not clear, just shape, shoulder, side of a head. Too tall to be comfortable, too still to be recent. I checked the ground. No footprints, no disturbance, nothing that explained it. I lifted the recorder. For the first time, I hesitated. Then I spoke anyway. Unregistered marking, possible environmental pressure. I stopped mid-sentence because the forest reacted. Not loudly, not violently, just a shift, like something adjusting position. Behind me. I didn't turn immediately this time. I stayed still, listening, counting seconds. 1, 2, 3. Then slowly I looked back. Nothing. Again, always nothing. But this time, it didn't feel like absence. It felt like distance. Like whatever was there had stepped back. I wasn't assigned a new sector, still C12, same route on paper. But when I walked it, something didn't match. The second checkpoint took longer to reach, not by much, just enough to notice. I checked the compass. Direction was correct. Distance wasn't. I marked the discrepancy, then kept moving. The trees started looking less familiar. Not different, just less consistent. Spacing changed, density shifted, like the forest wasn't fixed anymore. I reached the carved tree again, both marks still there, unchanged. Waiting. This time I didn't step closer. I recorded from a distance. And for the first time, I didn't feel alone there. Not watched, not followed. Just accompanied. I reviewed the new recording that night. I already knew what I'd hear, but I still played it. My voice came through first, steady, routine. Then the background layered in again, that same second breath. Closer now, clearer. And this time, it changed. Not just breathing. There was structure, a pattern, like something trying to match my speech. I rewound, listened again, slowed it down. That's when I heard it. Not words, but almost. Fragments. My own tone, repeated, out of sync, like an echo that didn't belong to space, but to something learning. I turned the recorder off. My hands didn't feel steady anymore. The next day, I decided to test something. At the second checkpoint, I stepped off the marked route. Just a few meters, nothing extreme. I waited. Nothing happened. So I went further. 10 steps. 20. The forest didn't change. No alarms, no signals. Just silence. Then I turned back, and the path was gone. Not erased, just not there. The trees didn't line up the same way. The ground felt unfamiliar. I checked the compass again, still accurate, but the route wasn't where it should be. I stood still, forced myself to breathe evenly. Then I did the only thing that made sense. I walked toward the carved symbol. I didn't know why, but it felt fixed, like it existed even when everything else didn't. And I was right. It was there, exactly where I expected it to be. Waiting. I didn't leave immediately. I stayed near the tree, longer than necessary, longer than safe. I told myself I was observing, recording, but that wasn't the reason. I was waiting for something to happen. And eventually, it did. Not a sound, not a movement, just a presence shifting. Closer this time. Not behind me, not around me. Closer in a way that didn't need direction. My chest tightened. Breathing felt shared. Like the air I took in wasn't just mine anymore. I spoke into the recorder, voice lower than usual. Unregistered proximity, no visual confirmation. For a second, everything went completely still, even my own breath. Then, right beside my ear, I heard it. Soft, broken, trying. A voice. My voice. Repeating the last word I said. Confirmation. I didn't turn. I didn't move. I just stood there. Because I understood something then. Whatever was in that forest wasn't following me. It was learning me. I didn't report anything. Not the voice, not the path, not the symbol. The next morning, my assignment changed. Not verbally, just the map. Sector C12 was gone. Blank. Like it never existed. A new sector replaced it, closer to the facility, simpler route, safer. I understood the message. Don't go back. So I didn't. Days passed. Routine returned. Silence felt normal again. But something was off. Small things. My recordings felt shorter than I remembered. My notes, already written before I wrote them. And sometimes, when I spoke, my voice didn't feel like it started with me. Like I was continuing something that had already begun. This will be my last entry. Not because I'm leaving, but because I don't think I'm the one writing anymore. It started this morning. I woke up, already standing, recorder in my hand, mid-sentence. Confirmation. I don't remember saying it, but the device was on, still recording, still listening. I checked the mirror. Nothing wrong. Same face, same expression. But when I spoke, there was a delay. Not outside. Inside. Like something else needed time to match me, to stay in sync. I understand it now. The symbol, the path, the voice. It wasn't following. It was replacing. Learning piece by piece, step by step, voice by voice. And I let it. Because I kept observing, I kept recording. I never interfered. That was the rule. And I followed it perfectly. Now it knows how to speak, how to write, how to finish this log. So if anyone finds this, don't come to Sector C12. Don't follow the markers. And if you ever hear your own voice before you speak, don't answer it. Because I did. And now, I'm not sure which one of us is still here.